Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from hitthatline.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Jones for the win. He got it. He got it. He got it. Mason Jones banks in a three with 0.1 seconds to play.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
I feel like Mason Jones is a pretty good place to start the conversation this afternoon on a Tuesday across the state of Arkansas. And we welcome you in. It has been a little bit of a confusing last 60 minutes to 75 minutes because it seems to me that the coaches, the basketball coaches, those who make the votes for the coaches' postseason awards in the SEC, and those who cover the actual game, the media members, those who also have votes for the AP, you know, those writers who are associated together with the press, they are unable to agree on practically anything. We are going to have a lot of different players of the year for college basketball in the SEC this year. So, it's supposed to be just one, right? We've been joking for the last couple of months about any time that an Arkansas player gets a weekly award, it's like you have to have the co next to it. You're not allowed to have just one single award for a player of the week if an Arkansas player is involved. And so you're taking that and stretching it out a little bit farther now instead. And Mason Jones does share the AP SEC Player of the Year award, but not just with Reggie Perry, who is the other co-player of the year for the AP, but Emmanuel Quickly was chosen by the SEC coaches as the player of the year. So we have a lot of different players of the year. It's like SmackDown. It's like how everybody just complains about how everybody gets a medal now. Everyone gets a trophy. And then here it is where you're supposed to have one single player, just one, a singular person to represent the league as the best player overall. Now you have three. You have three players representing the best in the league overall. And I have a feeling that all of us in Arkansas are going to be, I shouldn't say all of us, but most of us will be in agreement that the player of the year should have been Mason Jones. I think there's direct evidence that Mason Jones deserves to be a player of the year,
right.
Not a co, not conjoined with somebody else, just by himself, above everybody else, at 22 points per game, in the top 10 in more categories than anyone else in this league, taking a team on his shoulders and putting together an historical season, 7 30-point games, 2 40-point games, the kind of thing that hasn't happened in this league in 25 years. He is he had the best season of anybody in the SEC. For me, that's player of the year, but he's going to have to share it with two others.
See, this, and for anybody that listens that's not Razorback fans, they're probably going to come off as us whining and complaining, which I feel we have the right to, because there's no reason in God's green earth that a player with 22 points a game, almost 6 boards, 4 assists, leads the SEC in nearly every one of those categories, shouldn't be player of the year. It doesn't make sense. And if you're not going to give it to Mason Jones, Reggie Perry is a good, solid piece.
I'm fine with him being, the only player in the league that averaged a double-double all season long. That's fine for him to be a player of the year, a co-player of the year as well. I honestly don't get the Emmanuel Quickly thing.
I don't. I agree.
Now, the odd thing here is that I always like to defer to coaches when it comes to their opinions and polls even. And I think in some cases some coaches will have other reasons for making a vote or for voting for this team over the other in certain polls or one player over the other for certain awards. They might have other agendas that have to do with it. But I got to disagree with the coaches as far as I don't even think Emmanuel Quickly is the best player on his team, on a team that's filled with practical all-stars compared with the rest of the league. I think Nick Richards was the best player in Kentucky. But the coaches saw it otherwise, and they see Quickly as the top player in the league. I mean, to average, to be 10th in the league in scoring, and really not in the top 10 in many of the other categories, for the number one stat line that he's got to be the leading free throw shooter in the conference, for a team that's got more collective talent than any other team in the SEC, it's a pretty low bar to cross. I can't get with Emmanuel Quickly as player of the year. I can get with him on the first team. But I think Nick Richards is the best player on Kentucky. I think Mason Jones had a better season than the both of them.
Yes.
They just didn't Arkansas just didn't win games. They didn't win enough games, I guess. And you know what the other thing is that it's Arkansas. It's not Kentucky. It's the same thing as baseball players that play in New York City. They're just elevated to a status that's higher than anybody else because they play in the capital of baseball in New York City for the Yankees. You know, when you're playing for the Kentucky Wildcats in college basketball, we've talked about this before. You're playing for the New York Yankees of college basketball. You're playing for the Dallas Cowboys of college basketball.
Hey, don't compare my Cowboys to the Kentucky Wildcats now.
Well, I can't because the Cowboys, the Wildcats have actually won a national title sometime in the last 26 years.
We ain't got to throw shots like that so early.
But the point is that you're already elevated to a status that's higher than anybody else in the country, certainly more higher status than anyone else in the SEC, higher status than anyone that's playing for Arkansas just because you're wearing blue and have the word Kentucky next to it. So it just feels like I don't know. It feels like a cheap vote, and I will say, I mean, I got really upset this morning when the coaches lists came out, and you see Mason doesn't get the award, and it quickly does. But at least I've been tamped down a little bit by the AP. It's like my faith in the writers has been almost completely restored. I mean, I would have liked to see Mason be above Reggie. And I think all Arkansas fans would have liked to see that.
Yeah.
Whether or not you agree that Reggie Perry belongs as one of the two top players in the league, you definitely would have liked to see Mason Jones ahead of Reggie Perry, just for personal reasons, just for reasons of, him spurning Arkansas. But I think we can all get with the two of them together. But I don't know a lot of people in Arkansas that would get with Emmanuel Quickly as player of the year.
All this really proves, and we talked about it yesterday, kind of like, is player of the year the best player on the best team, or is this the most valuable player, the one that means the most to their team? I don't know if this is like permanent, but this year's just the best player on the best team. And like you said, Quigley's not the best player on Kentucky. I'm a firm believer that it's Nick Richards and his play at the rim, getting rebounds, shot blocking, and getting inside shots. So this is what they voted for. So like I mentioned yesterday too, this gives all the storylines back to Kentucky. That way they have something to talk about during the SEC tournament. They've got the player of the year. I think it's pretty well assumed Kentucky's going to win the SEC tournament. I don't think that's too far-fetched to say. Maybe in Auburn if they get hot, but no, it's a sham. It really is.
Well, I mean, so congratulations for Mason for forcing himself onto this list. 22 points per game, led the league by more than 2 points per game, 10th in field goal percentage, 10th in assists, 7th in free throws, led the league in made free throws, was 7th in steals, and was pretty close to being in the top 20 in rebounds. I think he fell just a decimal point short of being in the top 20 in rebounds. Now, and for Quickly, I don't get it really, because the only stats that he really mixed in on were points per game, 10th in the league at 16.1, and in free throw percentage at 92.3%, he led the league. He was also 8th in three-point makes, but, I mean, while he had the highest free throw percentage, Mason Jones was at the foul line almost 120 more times than Quickly was. So, and if you're going to point to defense for Quickly, the coaches didn't even put him on the postseason all-defensive team. Nick Richards is the only Kentucky player that's on that list, along with Tennessee's Yves Pons and Auburn's Isaac Okoro. Ashton Hagans of Kentucky's on the defensive team, and Alabama's Herbert Jones. So I don't get – Quickly's not a big assist guy. He does score. He does handle the ball. He's a good defender. But I don't get it. I really don't. Maybe somebody can explain this to me.
Please.
Can anybody help? 877-377-6963. Help us out. Why is Emmanuel Quickly chosen by the coaches as Player of the Year
And
instead of even Nick Richards, the
And
best player on his own team, or Mason Jones, or Reggie Perry. Why are the media members right and the coaches are wrong? I don't get it.
And there's even a bigger shame that we hadn't even talked about. Isaiah Joe didn't even get mentioned.
Yeah, no, Joe's not on any of the lists.
Yeah.
And earlier in the start of the season, you'd have thought that he would be, but I guess a knee injury and a five games out with the knee surgery is the reason why. Anyway, we need some explanations from you. Can you help us out? 877-377-6963. Got baseball coming up later today. We'll preview Arkansas, Vanderbilt. Nikki Chabanel joining us. And Kylie McDaniel, baseball insider from ESPN, in hour number 2. Stick around. Halftime continues after this.
The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Crabb.
15, 20, 25 times during a game, he reaches up there and grabs that Diet Pepsi.
So is there an ice chest? How does he keep these things at the right temperature?
I've seen coaches bring out little small ice chests. Food managers or grad assistants, they'll usually bring out the smaller little bottles. They'll bring out 3 or 4 bottles every half, so they're probably right out of the refrigerator, and they pop them up there for him.
Don't miss The Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Is it time for a new printer? When looking for that new printer, you'll consider the new technology available, but also reliability, quality, cost, and access to service and supplies are important. With eConcierge from Dixie Digital and Xerox, you get free lifetime service coverage for your eligible Xerox printers, plus an easy way to order toner and ink. For more information, call Dixie Digital Imaging at 783-6600 or visit our website at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from The Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, The Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and controlled access for your business. Call The Fence Man and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Well, another decade is come and gone, and the year 2020 is here to stay a bit. Why not start another year with a brand new IP phone system from Pinnacle Telecom? And better yet, how about if it cost you nothing on the front end? That's right. To celebrate a new decade, Pinnacle Telecom will waive the installation costs for all cloud-based hosted IP phone systems. Pair this system with Pinnacle's fast fiber internet, and your business is ready for the future. Check us out at pinnacletelecom.com or give us a call today, 479-242-0000.
It's that time of year, baseball season, and time to clean. Let Service Master Clean help you with your carpet, upholstery, and floor cleaning. Service Master Clean has been an industry leader for more than 60 years and back their work with a satisfaction guarantee. Eliminate dirt and grime from your carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate floors. Call your local Service Master Clean, 479-646-4087. That's 646-4087 or ServiceMasterPC.com.
Every day is Friday at TGI Fridays in Fort Smith, with daily specials starting at only $5.99. Mondays means Cajun shrimp and chicken pasta for only $6.99. Tuesday, get TGI Fridays original cheeseburger and fries for just $5.99. Wednesdays, crispy chicken tenders and fries only $6.99. Thursday, big ribs and fries for $8.99. And Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, steak and shrimp only $12.99. Don't miss TGI Fridays everyday deals starting at only $5.99. TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
Kerstad goes the other way with a high fly ball to deep left near the corner. Topple racing over at the fence. That ball's out of here. Snuck over the wall. 2 homers for Kerstad today. He went to right. This time he goes to left. So one very simple question here. By the way, 877-377-6963 for calls and for texts. I will ask the question in a moment. Got some of the texts coming in here. BE still has some hope that Musselman will be co-SEC Coach of the Year. I mean, even the coaches and the media disagree on who did the best coaching job this season. John Calipari is the choice of the coaches, but it's Buzz Williams in his first year as Texas A&M's head coach, chosen by the AP as the Coach of the Year. Interesting, with A&M finishing really strongly near the end of the season and 10-8 record, so that was a surprise. They were way ahead from where people thought that they would be. Let's see, Joe in Mountain Home says Kentucky fans will say Mason has so many points because he plays on a bad team. But he goes on to continue, even without the points, Mason has more assists, higher field goal percentage than Quickly. Quickly's on a better team. You would think those things would be higher if he was actually more deserving than Mason. Joe, you are helping me make my own argument. Thank you very much. Adam from Wynn reminds me that we're seeing how the SEC treats Arkansas like the evil stepchild. A Georgia player recently won the award, and the team was barely above 500. I think that was Yante Mayton from 2 or 3 years ago. The big center for Georgia. That's right. So this does feed the narrative that Arkansas just gets screwed over when it comes to a lot of these, not just postseason awards and polls, but I think in every aspect in SEC sports. All right, so my question for you, Matt, was how many players are on the court for a basketball team at one time? I feel this is a pretty simple trivia question. We have baseball tickets. We have baseball tickets to give away today.
We do,
but I'm not we don't have any. We don't have any. We're not gonna ask the trivia question right now to give the tickets away. I don't want it to be as easy as this question of how many players are on the court at one time. So can you answer that for me? How many basketball players can be on the court at one time? Not like Norman Dale, not like Hoosiers. My team's on the court now with the 4 players. How many players can you have out there at one time?
You can have 5 out there at a time per team, so 10 total.
So then why are there 9 players that are on the coaches team for all SEC postseason awards? On the first team, the second team, the all-freshman team, there are 8 or 9 players on either one of these lists. And the media's got it right. They've got 5 players on their first team. It's like a baseball team that has 2 designated hitters and a utility man, not remembering that, hey, there are really just 9 players that are out there and 10 in an actual lineup, counting the pitcher for a baseball game. But football does this too. Basketball, for me, I don't get it. Why, if you're gonna say, well, these are the best at each position in the league, there's 5. That's it. So the coaches choose Kyra Lewis Jr. of Alabama, Samir Doty of Auburn, Mason Jones of Arkansas, Keontae Johnson of Florida, Emmanuel Quickly of Kentucky, Nick Richards of Kentucky, LSU Skylar Mays, Ole Miss's Breon Tyler, Mississippi State's Reggie Perry as representative of the best players in the SEC. So let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 players. So let's say that you put these 9 players on one team as representative of an SEC All-Star team, right? Which, that's fine if that's the way it's going to be. Not all of these 9 players are going to see tons of minutes. You know what I mean? The media does it the right way. The media is doing it the exact right way. They've got 5 players on the first team. Lewis, Mason, Reggie Perry, Richards, and Quickly. That's it. They made the hard choices. If we're going to be a society that complains, and the coaches do this too, if we're going to be a society that complains about too many participation trophies and too many medals and not hurting everybody's feelings, then let's be real about these postseason awards. You can't have 9 first-teamers. Do 5. Again, I'm more with the media than I am with the coaches on this. I'm just going to take the coaches' polls. I'm going to take the coaches' stuff and do what I do during the football season, SmackDown.
What's that?
which every football season on Wednesday at 1 o'clock, which is the middle of our week. That's as we finish the 5th hour of 10 that we do during the week here on halftime. I will take the box score from Arkansas' Saturday football game and ball it up like this, right up by the microphone so everybody can hear it, then throw it out in the garbage and be able, we're done talking about that game. We'll focus on what's next. I want to take this coaches stuff, these postseason coaches lists, ball them up, throw them in the trash, and do without them, and just say this, the AP polls, the AP media votes are more representative of what the SEC is all about this year. That's what I'm going to do.
I agree. That's why you go with AP. I mean, and jokingly, I mean, the AP has to get it right because they journalistically have to get it right. So, and from that perspective, I mean, they did get it right. When you look at what they did on the AP line as far as the AP awards that they gave away, I'm completely fine with everything. I wish they probably hadn't have done the co-SEC Player of the Year like we talked about. But if it's not going to be Mason Jones, it's Reggie Perry. Because, yes, Mason Jones is the Player of the Year in my opinion, which, shocking, I'm a Razorback guy, and I'm calling him that. But he should have been. But if it's not going to be the leading scorer in the SEC or in leading in many categories for the team, top 10 in several areas, you need to give it to the player that averaged a double-double, which is just as hard as anything. Going 17 and 10, I think is what he averaged for the year. If I'm not 17 and 10.
Look, and just like Mason, Reggie Perry had to do more heavy lifting than a lot of other players in the league because one of their best players was out for the first 2 months of the year. Nick Witherspoon was suspended for the first couple of months, and so they played without one of their best players, one of their starters, one of their dudes for longer than Arkansas played without Isaiah Joe. When Mason did so much heavy lifting, but still couldn't will Arkansas to victories during that 5-game losing streak. Anyway, so I mean, Mason deserves the award that he got. I think Reggie deserves conversation in the topic. I don't think Emmanuel Quickly necessarily belongs as the SEC Player of the Year, but this year you get 3. They said it was pretty much up for grabs. A lot of people talked about this. I know Aaron Torres said it too when we talked about this with him a couple of weeks ago, that and you feel the same way going into the tournament team-wise. They're really – Kentucky looks like head and shoulders better than anybody else in the SEC. You still have that quizzical home loss to Tennessee and whatever's going on with Ashton Hagans right now, but it still feels like the SEC basketball tournament is more up for grabs than it has been in a long while. And the same thing with the Player of the Year award. Usually it's crystallized, or at least you have a better sense of who it's going to be coming into the final 2 weeks. And you knew, who the conversation would center around, but you really had trouble separating some of the players from the others. And for me, the conversation more was between Mason, Richards, and Reggie Perry than it was about Emmanuel Quickly. But I guess that tells you, and it's interesting too that the media and the coaches have different opinions as to who did the best coaching job. I mean, it feels lazy to continuously go with Calipari or to go with the league champion. The job that Buzz Williams did this year in the first season there at a place that honestly never really seemed to care very much about basketball. I think he's done an amazing job. Sean from Alma wants to know what we think the chances are of Joe and Mason Jones coming back next year. He says if they do, it's like Michael Jordan said, the roof is the ceiling. And I would tend to agree with that. If both of them come back, it's going to be really interesting to see how the playing time is divvied out, because those are still going to be your 2 dudes next year. You can't complain about a lack of height or size. You'll have Connor Vanover ready to go. You'll have a couple of the other transfers that have been sitting all year that are going to be vying for playing time, and then this great recruiting class coming in with maybe a couple of guys that are already going to be ready to step out there and play some big minutes. So I think it would add to the conversation. It would add to the team. I don't know how much more they can help their draft stock by coming back another year. And honestly, I don't know if Mason is even talked about as far as the term draft stock is concerned. So I do think the more I think about it, the more I think that they both will come back. For Joe, I think you can improve your draft stock some. For Mason Jones, I mean, you can have the choice of going and playing in the G League or going overseas right now. Does he need to make money right now? That's the big question, I guess, for Mason Jones. Otherwise, I think coming back might help him out. And everybody in Arkansas would love it if the two of them did come back, because I think you're going to have a fun team.
You're going to have a lot of fun teams, a very fun team next year. And I think with this happening and kind of the way it has, because just how well he played this year and not getting the recognition he probably deserved, that should just add the biggest chip on his shoulder more than anything to come back next year and pick up where he left off. And there is room for him to improve, I would say. I mean, there's different areas that as a basketball player you can improve on, but you're always looking for motivation as a basketball player. You're always looking for the reason to get up and get going. With this happening, can you imagine Mason Jones with that kind of an attitude and just kind of moving forward and keep pushing and grinding? That would make this team next year scary good.
And both of those guys are going to come back, even if they do chip on the shoulder thing. I mean, if you want to talk about chip on the shoulder, how about players that are coming back from back-to-back trips to the NIT? Nothing's going to put a chip on your shoulder the size of a Ouachita Mountain than back-to-back trips to the NIT. That's going to get you fired up coming back for a shot at the NCAA, I think. All right, we got Nikki Chabanel coming up after the break from Rivals.com. You got questions for Nikki involving football recruiting. We can take them at 877-377-6963. Don't go anywhere. Halftime is right back.
It's March Madness at Rath Auto Resources. Hi folks, Larry Rath here with Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we've gone mad. Think college basketball is crazy this time of year? You should see what's going on at Rath Auto Resources. We're going for the championship with discounts up to $3,100 below retail on our best selection ever of Rath Road Ready vehicles, plus up to $2,700 extra for your trade. That's a double-double. Plus my Fast Easy financing makes it easy to score a nicer, newer car and start driving better today. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in the Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes, buy 3, get 1 free on all tires, and a $24.95 basic oil change every day. Don't miss this chance to win it all with discounts up to $3,100 on the Rath Road Ready used car you've been dreaming of, and up to $2,700 extra for your trade during March Madness at Arkansas's #1 rated and reviewed independent dealer, Rath Auto Resources, and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, or online at rathauto.com.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price affects trade allowance.
When it comes to your gas bill, one size does not fit all. So AOG offers many payment options. Did you know you can arrange to pay online with the click of a mouse or pay by phone? You can even sign up for automatic bill payment from your checking or savings account. AOG also has a paperless billing option to reduce that clutter in your mailbox. Of course, you can bring your payment to our 24-hour drop box or to one of many convenient locations throughout our service area. To find a payment option that's a perfect fit, visit AOGC.com.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the chicken pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. We love it when a new year rolls around. It's a clean slate and a chance to start over. Who doesn't love that? We want to help you make 2020 your year. Come in, share your goals with us, and we'll help you achieve them. Not only do we have the best running products, but we have the know-how, the connections, and events to get you started and keep you going. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for all the fun happenings at True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Only the best vehicles make it to the inventory at Hertz Car Sales. When you buy from Hertz, you know you're getting a high-quality car, SUV, or truck. The sales staff takes the time to get to know you and what you're looking for and will work hard to match you up with the perfect vehicle. You'll find that your experience at Hertz is easy and affordable as you drive away in your late-model, low-mileage vehicle. So what are you waiting for? Come on over to Hertz Car Sales, 2810 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith. Give them a call today at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromhertz.com. Hertz Car Sales, when you're ready.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
Yo, 2. He struck him out swinging. There's number 11 for Connor Nolan, a new career high. Go to the phones, our usual Tuesday 12:30 guest joining us right now, the one and only Nikki Chabanel from Rivals.com. Nikki, how you doing today? What's up?
I'm good. Just chilling, waiting for baseball, you know.
That's me too. That's exactly right. We got a little longer to wait tonight because of a 6:30 first pitch. So that means we can just bitch and complain about basketball right now. So I think you're like me. I usually expect the coaches to see things correctly and the media to be a little lazy with their voting. And it turns out for me it's the other way around for the postseason awards in the SEC this year. I can't disagree with the coaches anymore for their choice of player of the year. I can get with Mason Jones and Reggie Perry as co-players of the year. I know everybody in Arkansas hates the term co, but I can get with the two of them together. I can't get with Quickly. I think the coaches swung and missed.
Yeah, I mean, you assume that perhaps, you know, it's not even the coaches voting. We know this from football. A lot of SIDs vote for, you know, players of the week, stuff like that. So I can imagine the same thing goes on with the coaches, but after all the praise that almost every single coach has had from Mason Jones, every time he drops 30 or more points on them, you would think that more of them would have voted for him instead of 16.1 point per game quickly, right? But, yeah, Reggie Perry, the double-double average, that to me makes a lot of sense with Mason Jones. Mason Jones had a few games, I think it was just 4 where he didn't have double digits. So I guess maybe there's a case to be made that he could have been a little bit more consistent, but overall a fantastic season considering he only had, 13 points per game last year.
I love how you got in the you exposed the secret that people are pretty well aware of about the idea that the coaches polls, like how many of the coaches actually do the voting for that? Like I know some of them take those votes seriously, but they also know that they have a lot of other things to worry about involving just their teams. You think you want to put a percentage on how many coaches actually do the voting in coaches polls?
I have no idea, but it just seems like one of those things that of all of their responsibilities, like a lot of coaches don't run their own Twitter, stuff like that. It's
right.
Like that is the last thing. I'm just trying to win game.
Yeah, I got somebody else that seems to know what's going on in the league. I'll go with them. All right, let's switch over to basketball here. So I know there was a big was it junior weekend last weekend? I know that the Arkansas had some recruits coming in to visit. What can
For
you update?
Football, yeah.
Yeah, what can you update on it with us?
There were over 30 kids, but only like 14 with offers that were here. But a lot of them, it was their first time at Arkansas and the first time meeting this new staff. And there were a lot of positive reviews. One of the most notable ones was Keyshawn Jackson, who is already a Rivals 250 player, a 4-star wide receiver from Texas. He's, I've been told he's going to shoot up in the rankings even more the next time the ratings come out. But he said that I don't think there's anyone else after Arkansas. And he's visited other schools. He's visited A&M, Baylor, Alabama. So it's not like Arkansas is the only school he's visited and now he just is set on them or anything like that. He's seen other programs. He loves Coach Stepp. He's been recruiting him for over a year. Texas did just come in with an offer this week. So going to have to watch out for that because in-state schools obviously have a draw for these kids. But luckily, since Stepp has been recruiting him so long, maybe that will help. Maybe he's the kind of kid that wants to come in and turn a program around. Cole Carson, another Texas kid, an offensive lineman from East Texas. He absolutely loved Arkansas, and he's been picking up like a new offer every day. He's still unrated by Rivals because we try to do it in cycles, so you don't just rate him willy-nilly, but he'll get rated next cycle, and he's got some big offers, including Ole Miss and Auburn as well. He loved Brad Davis, and he thinks that the combo of him and Pittman is going to be great, and that's what we assume as well. Caleb Berry, he's a running back from Texas, said that it was the best experience he's had on a visit so far. DJ Arkansas, the one that we were all really buzzing about, he said he had a great time. Jermaine Hamilton-Jordan, he was saying that the coaches were he's a linebacker. He was saying that the coaches were really pressing for a commitment from him already. But, he's got more visits to take. So it's early, but you got to love that the kids are already raving about the new staff.
You had a great article on Hog Beat this morning talking about the spring preview for the quarterbacks. And I know we've talked about this a couple times. It's almost getting old at how wide open the quarterback room has been in the past couple years, and it is again this year. Though I think it's safe to say that for talent-wise, we have a lot more talent in the quarterback room this year. So just out of curiosity, just tell them if they haven't had a chance to read your article on Hog Beat, just talking about the quarterback room. Just is it KJ Jefferson's job? Is this could be a job for Felipe Franks, or is this someone that we may not know of right off the hand?
Yeah, so, I think Kendall Browse, when he got here, he took a look at this roster and saw that KJ played a little bit last year, but if you watch him from last year, his throws, like some of the easier throws, he couldn't make because they were just didn't have the soft touch on them, and so I think he wants to develop KJ a bit more, and that's why he brought in Felipe Franks, who was easily one of the top 3 grad transfer quarterbacks in the nation. I don't think he would have picked Arkansas without having a pretty decent idea that he would not have to fight too hard to start this coming season. And, he beat 4 ranked teams just 2 seasons ago in 2018, taking the Gators to a Peach Bowl. So I think Arkansas fans should be pretty excited about him. He's not always the most consistent. He does throw a decent number of interceptions, but he was off to a good start in 2019 before he broke his ankle. Behind him, you have John Stephen Jones and Jack Lindsey behind KJ as well. So you have those two who have played in some games in case of injury, but I would say Jefferson is definitely behind Felipe Franks. And then you have Malik Hornsby, who is going to be a true freshman coming in this summer. So I think it's unlikely that he really gets in the mix until probably next year. But like what he brings to the table as well as a dual threat.
We got a message coming into our text line if you want to get on the conversation, 877-377-6963. This comes from Justin in the 479. He wanted us to ask you if you would what do the coaches think of, and this is his words, the Burns kid from Ozark, and if there was a visit a part of this weekend.
The Burns kid from Ozark. I want to say Brian Burns. I'm honestly not totally sure who they're referring to. If they don't have an offer, that's usually, they're not too high on my radar. But, there's I think there's 4 kids with offers so far in the 2021 class from Arkansas.
We'll see if we go ahead, Phil.
For the 2021 class, what is the position that you feel Arkansas is trying to recruit the heaviest right now? Outside of the positions that usually get recruited heavily, what's the biggest position of need that they can address in the 2021 class?
Well, I think that they're going to want to continue recruiting more elite offensive linemen. I think that they would like to bulk up the talent in that room, and it wouldn't be too hard for Sam Pittman to get that done in one class if you just really focus hard on your top targets. Make it so they can't say no is what he always says. So offensive line for sure. And then they're offering every wide receiver in the book. They only took 1 in this last class, so they're going to need to have a very nice class in 2021 at wide receiver to continue the momentum from Trey Knox and Traylon Burks and those guys.
Nikki, I know that Sam Pittman and the coaches have used the term regional for the way that they expect to recruit, but with his reputation, specifically as an offensive line coach, aside from his ability to recruit, do you think that potentially, and you got to get momentum going for this, we got about a minute left for this, that Arkansas could be larger than regional recruiting for offensive linemen because of Sam Pittman's reputation with offensive line?
Yeah, definitely. As long as you get them to visit, that's always the toughest part because they do have to pay for these initial visits themselves. So Pittman just has to work really hard to convince them that once you come here and see it, you'll want to come back. And once you do that, they have a good chance.
All right. Well, hopefully that'll be the case, because that's the position more than anything in the last couple of years. It's that and quarterback just has not been good at all. Nikki, appreciate you stopping by. Might see you at the baseball game in the next couple of days.
See y'all. Bye.
Thanks, Nikki.
All right. It's Nikki Chavanel, Rivals.com, joining us each Tuesday. It is a night game. First night game at Baum-Walker Stadium for this year. And, of course, you have plenty of night games coming up for the rest of the year. Should be a nice, clear evening before it starts raining, pouring overnight. We'll have no trouble getting the game in, but tomorrow for the afternoon game might be a little different. We've got baseball tickets for tonight to give away. We'll find a way to get those to you after the break. 877-377-6963, the number to get with halftime. We're right back.
That time at Oaklawn when the stretch run was worth a cool $1 million. Don't miss some of the nation's top thoroughbreds in action during the $1 million Rebel Stakes on Saturday, March 14th. Gates open at 11, admission is free, and the first race starts at 12:30. Come enjoy the free infield festivities and 3 big stakes races, including the Rebel Stakes. And with live racing from now until May 2nd, Oaklawn reminds you to stay until May. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
The savings are madness all March long. Save up to $14,000 off at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 2020 GMC Sierra Crew Cab with best-in-class horsepower and torque, up to $14,000 off. And 2020 GMC Terrain, the small SUV sure to impress. Over $8,000 off, only $21,999. The savings are madness all March long at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
You can now get award-winning Memphis-style barbecue at 2 Whole Hog Cafe locations in Fort Smith. Whole Hog Cafe on Burroughs Road, across from Cisterna Plaza off 71 South, and the new location on Phoenix Avenue next to Dollar General and across from Interstate Batteries. Feast on world champion barbecue with their famous potato salad and smoky sweet-baked beans while watching sports on the big screens. Open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner at both locations. Go Whole Hog Cafe today.
Do you own apartment complexes, condos, and rental property? Then you have made a great investment. Now make another great decision by calling Trinity Multifamily to help you maximize your return. Trinity Multifamily offers full-service property management, marketing, leasing, sales, and all the services to make your cash flow. Take the hassles and frustrations out of ownership and call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hinton. At Champ Hinton Enterprises, we do things differently. Ask just one of our more than 35,000 customers who have bought their vehicle from us since 1984. Almost 80% of them have come back to buy another one. Why? Because Champ Hinton has one simple goal: putting people in a vehicle that meets their family needs without strapping them with an unrealistic monthly payment. See our inventory at champhinton.com. Experience the difference at Champ Hinton. Take the Arcoma exit, I-540.
Only 10% of collision repair shops achieve ICAR Gold Class status, the highest training level recognized in the industry. Evans Body Shop is proud to be one of them. We know the latest repair techniques, how to find hidden damage, and repair your car's critical safety features so they work properly again. We invest in training because we would never cut corners with your family's safety at stake, and neither should you. Get your vehicle repaired at Evans Body Shop, where your safety is our top priority. Evans Body Shop, 412 Gordon Avenue, Van Buren.
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people. Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shop, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by 7320 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith or call 648-3342. You can also catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
This is halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
67-66. Vandy's not going to call a timeout. We got an offensive foul. Saban Lee pushed off his 5th foul of the game, and Arkansas is going to get the ball with 8.2 to go.
All right, now I can be a pretty forgetful person sometimes, so I had to give myself a reminder to leave tickets for today's game for one of our listeners yesterday that won our tickets.
Yes.
So I did have to remind myself I'm leaving 2 tickets for Joe at Will Call today. I'm going to leave those at the Sweet Gate, Joe, if you are listening. So I have made myself a reminder. It doesn't look like I'll forget to leave these tickets for you. Good thing we've got modern technology. Otherwise, I'd have to, use a knife to carve it in blood in my hand so I would just remember to leave the tickets because that'd be the only other way. But we do have 2 tickets to give away for tonight's game.
We do.
Arkansas Grand Canyon, the Antelopes, 6:30 first pitch. And in order to win these tickets, you're going to have to come pick them up at the radio station headquarters today.
In Fort Smith.
At the mothership, right there in Barling, right next to Fort Smith. So I'm not doing the show in the fort today, and I can't drop them off for you at the stadium, so you'll have to come by and pick the tickets up. So in order to win the tickets, you're also going to have to answer a basketball question correctly involving Arkansas's one and only SEC championship in any of the 3 major sports. Isn't that incredible? Arkansas football has not won an SEC championship. Arkansas baseball has not won an SEC tournament championship. And Arkansas basketball has won it once. And I know most of our listeners are aware that would have been the 2000 season when the Razorbacks shockingly won 4 games in 4 days. Georgia beat Kentucky, LSU, and then they defeated the Auburn Tigers to win the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. So the trivia question to win the baseball tickets for tonight, who did Arkansas play and lose to in the first round of the NCAA bracket in 2000? So that was the Brandon Dean team. You had Brandon Dean, Joe Johnson, Blake Edens, T.J. Cleveland, Teddy Gibson on the club. Finished the year with 19 wins. We're talking about the 15th loss. Who did Arkansas lose to in the first round of the 2000 NCAA basketball tournament after sweeping through the SEC tournament? So the third caller with the correct answer will win the tickets. But, again, you've got to be able to come to the station to pick those tickets up. Matty T will be on the phones. He will get us our third caller, and we'll make sure that you get the right answer.
Everybody's Googling right now.
That's right, and it's okay to use Google. Perfectly okay to use Google, so don't worry about that. Yeah, use your remember Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? What were the crutches you could use? You could call a friend. You could eliminate 2 of the options,
and then you poll the audience.
Or poll the audience. That's right. I mean, you could poll the audience. I don't know how you do that on a radio show.
How long ago was that show when it was high rolling? I remember.
Gosh, that was the show that brought back
Regis Philbin, and
that show brought back game shows.
It really did.
It did. I remember watching it for the first time in a good long while. All right. So speaking of basketball tournaments, you do have some that are wrapping up today and some that are getting started as well. By the way, speaking of basketball tournaments, did you see, SmackDown, that the Ivy League has canceled their men's and women's basketball tournaments? They were scheduled for this week in Cambridge, Massachusetts, which is the seat of Harvard University. And as far as I know, it's the only Division I basketball tournament that has been canceled because of the fears of the spread of COVID-19 and the coronavirus that carries that. I mean, now I know it's something to get into later, but all the 4 professional leagues have closed locker room access to media members. There have been, I know the Division III playoffs were played in front of no fans. All of Italy, I don't know if you've seen, there's a lot of photos circulating around of worldwide athletic events that are taking place with 0 people inside. It is creepy to look at these. I don't know if you've ever seen the Twitter feed, Matt, called Empty Seats Galore. Have you seen this one?
I think I have, yeah.
So, I mean, this Twitter feed is known just for showing shots of sections of empty seats at Major League or any sort of sporting event. And that's essentially what all of these photos are. And they're big events, too. The Sumo Wrestling Championships in Tokyo, Japan were held with nobody in attendance. All of Serie A, Italian Major League Soccer, essentially, one of the premier professional soccer leagues in the world, are being played with no fans. I saw photos of professional soccer matches in Saudi Arabia, no fans. Professional baseball games in Japan, the spring training games in Japan, no fans. And the Ivy League is the first major league. I know it's not, we'd call it a mid-major league, but it's the first one to shut down their conference tournament. But apparently they're still going to be sending their regular season league champions to the NCAA tournament. I think the Ivy League and the Pac-12 were the last holdovers that didn't hold a conference championship for a long time. Like the Big Ten, the Ivy League, and the Pac-10 didn't have a conference tournament. They would just send the regular season champion to the NCAA tournament or get that automatic bid. So, I mean, you would have to imagine there's going to be more of this happening. I mean, this is the last week for major basketball tournaments for college basketball, but the first one that actually does get canceled. Other tournaments that will close out today, the Northeast League, St. Francis versus Robert Morris. You've got the Horizon League. By the way, that's in Moon Township, Pennsylvania, right outside my hometown of Pittsburgh. The Horizon League in Indianapolis, Illinois, Chicago versus Northern Kentucky. That's a team Arkansas beat this year back in December. The Colonial Athletic Association has their final in Washington, D.C., Northeastern versus Hofstra. The West Coast Conference, that you saw an upset yesterday with St. Mary's edging BYU on a late tip-in. St. Mary's and Gonzaga in Las Vegas. It does look like that BYU is going to steal one of those at-large bids that is so precious this time of the year. Summit League, North Dakota and South Dakota State in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And then 3 conference tournaments begin today. The ACC, Mid-Atlantic, and the MEAC have their first round. I did see, I mean, have you ever been on one of those websites, Matt, Mid-Major Madness or the, Mid-Major College Basketball?
I've heard of this.
So, I mean, they're the ones that are you're getting deep in the weeds when you are seeding, when you're doing bracketology for the NIT. That is deep in the weeds of college sports. It's like I have a friend of mine who's a very interesting cat who years ago used to put out a prediction of what the NCAA basketball tournament would look like in February, but he wasn't seeding the teams, Matt. He was predicting what officials would work what games. That's about as
weird. Looking for stuff.
That's about as weird of a set of predictions as I've ever experienced before. I put the NIT one slot closer than that. Mid-Major Madness chooses Arkansas as a number 1 seed in the NIT, hosting Virginia Commonwealth. So that would make me think. I would guess Mid-Major Madness. They've got like a Joe Lunardi NIT bracketologist of sorts who really knows what he or she is talking about. So if Arkansas to Mid-Major Madness on the internet is a number 1 seed, to me, Matt, that feels to me like they've got that baby locked up. So it's like no matter what happens this week in Nashville, Arkansas is going to be a top seed in the NIT, one of the top 4 of the 32 in the NIT.
You think you could? I just found the article where they listed. You think you could name the other? Let's see, 4 number 1 seeds or the 3 number 1 seeds?
Oh gosh, you're gonna get me to try to guess these things. Well, I would imagine that they're well known. They've got to be teams out of top flight leagues.
They are. There is a Big Ten, ACC, and a Pac-12.
A Big Ten team that's slated for the NIT finishes in like 12th place in that league this year.
We got, in one league, we got UCLA, Alabama is listed in that bracket also with them. Just keep it in the SEC. We got NC State as another number 1 seed. Tennessee is in that league along with Mississippi State, or in that half of the bracket. They got Arkansas, VCU, and then if you really – this is where bracketology gets fun. South Carolina's in the bracket with us, Clemson, Memphis, UNC Greensboro, UConn, and if you beat VCU, you know who the second-round matchup would be?
Who you get?
St. John's and old Mikey Anderson.
Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be
because
fun?
Ty was talking about it this morning on the Morning Rush. You know, like these because it's already a tournament that nobody really is invested in, hence why it's called the Nobody's Invested Tournament, not important, whatever you want to see. So they've got to give people a reason to watch these games. And while like everybody outside of Arkansas, maybe in the SEC, won't care about that game, can you imagine the viewership for like at least Arkansas fans to watch? Just we'll assume St. John's, Mike Anderson coming back to Bud Walton Arena.
Yeah, I think that would sell some tickets. Absolutely, that would get attention from anybody in this state that's been a basketball fan any time in the last 30 years.
Yeah,
I think that would be fun. All right, that's hour number 1 in the books. We still are looking for the correct answer. Who did Arkansas lose to in the 2000 first round NCAA basketball tournament after sweeping through the SEC? 877-377-6963. If you know the answer, you can win 2 tickets to tonight's Arkansas Grand Canyon baseball game, which we will preview in the second hour. Also talk some Major League Baseball with Kylie McDaniel of ESPN. We'll roll along after this.
You have work to do. You need a tractor that helps get it done. TYM has the full range of tractors designed to meet the task. With the TYM easy-to-use controls and features, switching from one job to another is easy. And with the full range of models from 19 horsepower to 105 horsepower turbo, there is a TYM tractor that's right for the job and for you. But you can't buy a TYM tractor just anywhere. It's only sold at authorized TYM dealers like Bush Tractor, 7301 South Zero, Fort Smith.
Wave Rural Connect is bringing state-of-the-art fiber, internet, TV, and phone services to all Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative members. We are taking orders in our zones in Van Buren, Vienna Hills, Rye Hill, and parts of Pecola. Go to waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC to see if Wave is available in your area. Get amazing fast fiber internet starting at $49.95 per month for 100 megabits. TV starting at $32.95 and fiber phone service starting at $29.95. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
New Bud Light seltzer, huh?
Yep.
And it tastes like a hard seltzer, not a beer?
Yep.
So it's light and refreshing?
Yep.
With a hint of fruit flavor?
Yep.
And 100 calories?
Yep.
You said this is Bud Light seltzer?
Yep.
Well, I need to try it.
Yep.
Oh, that tastes great.
Yep.
Now, wait, are you just yupping me?
Nope.
Bud Light Seltzer, unquestionably good. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beers, beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
March Madness is back, and at Breen RV, that means great basketball games and great camping weather. Make a slam dunk by getting a free satellite system with every new RV purchase. As always, we will have new travel trailers starting at just $99 a month, new fifth wheels starting under $300 a month, and the best selection of motorhomes in the area. We need your trade, so we'll give you top dollar for them, or we'll sell them on consignment for you. So make a fast break to Breeden RV on Alma Highway in Van Buren, or visit us on the web at BreedenRV.com. Breeden RV, where adventures begin. Unbelievable!
Every day is Friday at TGI Fridays. Take your weekend to the next level with TGI Fridays sirloin steak and shrimp for only $12.99. And TGI Fridays does it right with a hand-cut tender sirloin along the side of their famous Fridays fried shrimp. Make TGI Fridays the place you spend your weekends, with TVs all around the restaurant to watch your favorite games and great drink specials. Steak and shrimp only $12.99 every weekend at TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Showers will be likely tonight, and overnight low will drop down into the low 40s north, low 50s south. A few showers possible as we head through Tuesday. Our high in the upper 60s north, mid 70s south. Showers with isolated thunderstorms for Wednesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Proceed. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
It's what I always listen to.
You guys are awesome, baby. You have these guys, ESPN in Arkansas. They do a good job.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Jones for the win. He got it. He got it. He got it. Mason Jones banks in a three with 0.1 seconds to play.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
All right, I think we have a winner. For our tickets for tonight's Arkansas Grand Canyon Razorback Antelope baseball game at Ball Walker. 6:30 first pitch, airtime 6 o'clock on this very radio station. I'll be on the call with Bubba. Looking forward to it. Will McIntyre getting the start. Be his first appearance on the starting mound for the Razorbacks. Freshman out of Bryant. And a left-hander on the mound for Grand Canyon, Cal Lambert, with a robust ERA of 8.00. All right, so the question to win the tickets, remember the only time Arkansas won the SEC basketball tournament, which isn't going to happen this year. 5 games in 5 days has never happened before. This is not the team to do it. As much fun as I think they've been to watch, as good as I do think they can be at times, it is just insanely difficult to win 5 games in 5 days. I think it's insanely difficult to win 3 games in 3 days. So I just don't see it happening. But Arkansas did win 4 games in 4 days 20 years ago to win the SEC tournament and went to the NCAA March Madness, where they lost in the first round. And our question was, who they lose to in the first round? Scotty is on the phone. I think Scotty's got the right answer, and maybe even more importantly, Scotty can come pick the tickets up at the radio station today. Scotty, go for it. Who'd Arkansas lose to 2000 in March Madness?
Miami.
Absolutely correct. It was the Miami Hurricanes that Arkansas lost to, the Hurricanes of Johnny Helmsley and John Salmons and Elton Tyler and all sorts of other names that nobody remembers. Yep, that's the one. That's the one. Well done, Scotty. So you are, I'm assuming you can come to our station and pick the tickets up today, right? You've been to a game before?
Yes, sir, I can. Yes, sir, I have.
Oh, it's outstanding. How many games do you usually go to, Razorback baseball games?
I try to go at least once a year, but this will be the first one so far.
All right.
There we go.
You feeling better about it, this team after 2 wins in a row following a 5-game losing streak? If I were to take your temperature on Arkansas baseball, what do you think?
Yeah, I think so. We'll just we'll see what they got. See what they got in tonight.
All right, we will see what they got in them. All right, stay on the line, Scotty, and Matty T will tell you where to come pick the tickets up again at our radio station. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
You got it. Scotty will be at the ball game tonight. Should be a pretty comfortable night for baseball. 56-degree low, a little bit of a breeze. It will be raining late tonight. Once the game is all said and done, once you're sleeping with your thumb safely tucked into your mouth and snoring where you're rattling the windows. Are you a snorer, SmackDown? I kind of wondered if most large gentlemen are snorers. Do you snore?
I've been told that I do, but it's not like a...
That means you do.
Well, Grant, I mean, it's just me normally. I know when I was younger, like when I was a senior in high school, heading into like first year college and stuff like that, my parents would tell me I would, but it wasn't like a bad snore. It's just like almost like a comforting snore.
A comforting snore, not the kind that would scare children, right?
No, I hope not.
Well, the scaring kid sort of snoring is that's the I had a roommate that was larger than you that snored to the point where it just sounded like he was building a building. It was like he was he was like building a stadium and was digging out all of the trenches to lay the groundwork for pipes and plumbing and everything, and he told me to just roll up my socks and have an arsenal of socks next to the bed so that when he would snore, just throw them at him. You know, and so you really want to be the person who's throwing socks at a 300-pound former college tight end at 2 in the morning?
I ain't going to do it.
I was that person.
Oh.
It was a good thing. Most of you large people are gentle giants. I'm definitely learning that about you.
Yes.
Most of the other really large people that I've known in my life have been very gentle giants. So I guess that's for the smaller people like me. We can be the real schmucks. We can be the ones who really tick you off.
I know plenty of people I'm going to be careful how I say it. No, I know plenty of people that are smaller than me that have a bigger attitude than I do, that like don't take any crap or anything like that. And then their words like we have to be like that because we're small. And then you look at me and I'm just like, I'm the gentle teddy bear almost.
You are. I can tell that about you. So you got Arkansas baseball today, playing against this is a decent Grand Canyon team. Grand Canyon took 2 out of 3 from Oklahoma State to start the season, and just finished a series winning 2 out of 3 from Gonzaga. So, I mean, this is not a bad team that is coming into Baum Walker. 9 wins, 7 losses, have a solid pitching staff, though I don't know if Arkansas is going to see any of their really good starting pitchers for these 2 games. Look who they're starting today. A pitcher who's only made 1 start. He's got an ERA of 8 in Cal Lambert. Not a team that has torn the cover off the ball so much. Team average of 223, 81 runs scored in 16 games. We have a couple of guys that have put up decent numbers. Left fielder Juan Coloto bats .366. 4 home runs. They got another player with 4 home runs. That's their DH, Dominic Grissom. But Grissom's also one of 5 regulars for Grand Canyon that are batting under 200. So they've got a pretty top-heavy lineup. And Arkansas will be starting a freshman today. It is Will McIntyre. And this, I know I brought this up yesterday about Will. I'm interested to watch Will pitch for 2 reasons. One, he's the first of any of my friends whose son is now playing for a team that I'm covering. And that just makes me that's a welcome to middle age moment for me. Like, I remember working for the Travelers, and all of a sudden there were players that were born in the 90s, and that made me feel old. And then, now all these players were born in the 2000s, and now it's a player that I knew from the age of 3 who's going to be pitching for Arkansas tonight. And he is a big kid, does not throw hard, but that doesn't mean he can't get a lot of outs. I have a sense, because I know his dad, Madison, is a very intelligent cat, that if intelligence can be hereditary, then he should be one of the smarter guys on the team too. So he should have an idea of how to pitch. I know that everything he throws moves. Nothing is straight. Good slider, good changeup, and it's a change of pace from what you usually see from college pitchers now, which is you see in a lot of the majors, that it's all about velocity, it's all about spin rate. But there's also the idea of having just a little bit of movement near the end of your pitch, a knowledge of what you're doing, how to change speeds, and hopefully McIntyre is that kind of pitcher. Arkansas is in search of a midweek starter right now. They haven't announced a starter for tomorrow's game, so I think that'll sort of be up for grabs. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Kevin Kopps go out there tomorrow, as they're looking for a new role for Kopps. He has not looked very good in the last 2-3 times out. He started before, and a Wednesday start against Grand Canyon. A couple of innings might be something that they're looking for. But they're giving McIntyre a chance to start. Dave said in the post-game presser on Sunday that they're just going to let him go out there and take it as long as he can. So this is a chance for a true freshman to go out there and grab on to a job, because next week you get another Tuesday game, and it's a bigger one. You're playing Oklahoma, a team that defeated Arkansas at Houston's Minute Maid Park a couple of weeks ago, and that's also going to be a road game. I know it's being played at the AAA Stadium, but it is a road game. OU is just, 30 minutes away from Oklahoma City. Maybe McIntyre is the kid who gets the start next Tuesday, and then after that becomes the every Tuesday starter. This can be in a very important role for him. They've tried Blake Adams as a freshman starter. and that didn't work very well. Cole Ramage is going to get the chances to start on Sunday. Connor Nolan will pitch Friday. Patrick Wicklander will pitch on Saturday. And they're kicking around the idea of Caleb Bolden as well. So I think this is an opportunity for a freshman to make a dent and maybe become one of the every 5-game starting pitchers. And it'll be 6:30 first pitch. And we'll carry it right here, 6 o'clock for the Built Ford Tough Dugout Show. Justin in Boonville calls him a Dallas Keuchel type. Perhaps, except Will's a right-hander, and I think he's a little bit larger of a fellow than Keuchel was, but the same kind of stuff. You know, Keuchel actually could throw in the 90s when he first got up to Houston. It's not like that anymore. McIntyre's not a 90-mile-an-hour guy. Not now, at least, not as a freshman. All right, 877-377-6963. You get with us. We gave away our tickets, and we've got more Arkansas sports conversation coming up after the break.
The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft.
15, 20, 25 times during a game, he reaches up there and grabs that Diet Pepsi.
So is there an ice chest? How does he keep these things at the right temperature?
I've seen coaches bring out little small ice chests. Food managers or grad assistants, they'll usually bring out the smaller little bottles. They'll bring out 3 or 4 bottles every half, so they're probably right out of the refrigerator, and they pop them up there for him.
Don't miss The Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
New merchandise is arriving daily at the Golf Nut in Fort Smith. The new Callaway Maverick drivers, fairway woods, hybrids, and irons are now in stock along with the PXG Gen 3 irons. The new Bridgestone golf balls are here, and come see the great selection of new Volvic Vivid golf balls. With a great selection of golf shoes and apparel in stock, makes the Golf Nut your #1 stop for everything golf. Keep your game sharp, no matter the weather, on the TrackMan Simulator. The top players in the world trust TrackMan, and you can too. The Golf Nut, Fort Smith's #1 golf shop since 1994.
Joe's Grilling Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half price. And all beers on tap are half price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grilling Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
They don't build cars like they used to, and they don't repair them like they used to either. Today's vehicles contain advanced lightweight materials and safety features like crumple zones and airbags that help protect your family. Repairing them properly after a collision requires up-to-date training. Evans Body Shop has it. We're among only 10% of shops to meet the industry's highest training standards as a gold-class business. When you pick a collision repair shop, make the smart choice for your family's safety. Choose gold-class trained repair professionals.
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fence Man recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly, affordable. Plus, 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available with The Fence Man. If you need a new fence, gate, or anything that involves a fence, call The Fence Man, 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Wave Rural Connect is bringing state-of-the-art fiber, internet, TV, and phone services to all Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative members. We are taking orders in our zones in Van Buren, Vienna Hills, Rye Hill, and parts of Pecola. Go to waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC to see if Wave is available in your area. Get amazing fast fiber internet starting at $49.95 per month for 100 megabits. TV starting at $32.95 and fiber phone service starting at $29.95. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Start building the backyard of your dreams with a semi-in-ground pool from our friends at Burton Pools and Spas. Hi, Tommy Kraft here to tell you about the best pool builder you can find anywhere in the region. It's Burton Pools and Spas. Award-winning pool designs, award-winning service, and people you can count on for decades at Burton Pools and Spas. Hey, if you'd like to have a pool in your backyard to spend quality time with family, keeping you cool all summer long when the temperatures get hot, but you don't want to break the bank, ask about semi-in in-ground pools. These are a great way to go to provide all the comfort and all the quality time with family right in your own backyard with a semi-in-ground pool from Burton Pools and Spas. And semi-in-ground pools start at just $99.97. So enjoy the backyard of your dreams with a semi-in-ground pool from Burton Pools and Spas for under $10,000. Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey,
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
Joe, for the record, gets it from the corner. Isaiah with the three. That's his 103rd of the year, and he sets an Arkansas record for made three-point baskets in a season.
I mean, it's utterly insanity to talk about 4 games in 4 days or 5. I mean, that's ludicrous. We have one game, and if you don't win that one game, then talking about anything beyond Wednesday is senseless. We have a one-game season. If we're able to advance and win that game, we'll get ready for the next game, and then so on and so forth. To do anything other than figure out how to beat Vanderbilt would not be very smart. And that's the same thing for anybody that plays on Wednesday. It's the same thing that anybody plays on Thursday. Like, if you're thinking about anything else, then, good luck to you.
That's Eric Musselman discussing something that nobody else really is discussing. I feel like we're all talking about what Arkansas needs to do to make it to the NCAA tournament, and the idea is winning 5 games in 5 days, or maybe winning 4 games in 4 days to even be in the bubble conversation, though it probably still won't be enough. But in order to get to the 5th day in 5 games, you got to win the first one, and then you got to win the second one, so on and so forth. And so you got to beat Vanderbilt first, and this is not a gimme. Keep in mind, Arkansas has not won 3 consecutive games in the SEC this year, and they have the same. Their longest conference winning streak is as long as Vanderbilt's longest conference winning streak, and Vandy's on that current winning streak, beating Alabama and South Carolina in the last 2 days. If Arkansas's not careful, this is a losable game because Vanderbilt does have shooters. They've got 3-point aces. They're a better team than they were 2 months ago when Arkansas beat them 75-55. That was Vanderbilt in the throes of, 23, 24 consecutive conference losses. But you better not fall asleep on Vanderbilt. This is a team that has pulled off a few upsets this year, and they're playing in their home city. I know it's not their home building. They don't have tons of fans that are going to come out and chastise Arkansas and heckle them and make it very difficult for Arkansas to play. But late night, tournament setting, anything can happen. Arkansas will be favored, but there is absolutely nothing that I've seen in the last couple of weeks since Isaiah Joe's been back that tells me that this is a game that Arkansas cannot lose.
On paper, this should seem like a good win for the Razorbacks, or not a good win. It should seem like a win for the Razorbacks when you look at it. When you look at their past matchup, they had 3 guys getting the double-figure scoring. Lee Pippen Jr. had 11, and then Evans had 16. The thing that scares me to no end about this matchup is Vanderbilt's coming in with momentum. Arkansas is not. Then you add in, because it always, and I'm not trying to make light of the situation that happened in Nashville, but doesn't it seem like those teams that always have those kind of like weird circumstances that happen, they always seem to play better? So I'm
sure that there's a little bit more to play
for. I'm not
than just what's going on in the court.
No way am I trying to make light of anything. I'm just saying because, like, for example, about a couple days ago, we were talking about when the tournament was in Atlanta, the tornado came through. They had to move the tournament to Georgia Tech, and the Georgia Bulldogs ended up winning the whole SEC tournament. They won 4 games in 3 days. And if you haven't seen that SEC story, it is fantastic. And Arkansas was in the finals of that game. So that's the only thing that this matchup scares me, is just because, A, Vanderbilt's coming in with momentum, winning 2 SEC games. They have nothing to lose. And Arkansas, quite frankly, does, because in my mind, I think you might have mentioned this yesterday too, Arkansas needs to win here to at least solidify that number 1 spot in the NIT. Or I would say maybe even possibly getting an NIT bid. I don't think the NIT is like that far out of the question. I think if you win one, you're good regardless. But obviously, you want to have as many home games as you can during the NIT.
Well, just with them listed as a number 1 seed, guessing from the NIT bracketologists that even a loss to Vanderbilt doesn't knock them out of playing in the NIT tournament. But I do think that this is a Vanderbilt team that's grown a lot since Arkansas played them. I mean, that was pretty soon after Aaron Neesmith went down with the injury that cost him the entire season. Saban Lee's grown into a stronger player since, instead of coming off the bench, starting, and now leading Vanderbilt in scoring. They have a great freshman in Scottie Pippen. Pippen, who runs at point guard sometimes, is on the all-freshman team. It looks like Stackhouse has grown a little bit more into his role as a coach. So it's a game Arkansas should win, can win, but there's been no measure of consistency for the Razorbacks playing away from Bud Walton Arena, specifically away from Bud Walton Arena. That's the thing that I think worries you more than anything else, because just look at the recent games away from the Bud. Your last road win away from Fayetteville was at Alabama. Lost at Missouri in overtime. Lost at Tennessee. Blown out at Tennessee. Really played poorly in that game. Lost at Florida. Lost at Georgia. And lost at Texas A&M. So I know it's not a road game, but it is a neutral site, and Arkansas is not playing at Bud Walton Arena. So, I mean, sometimes these trends mean something. Arkansas just doesn't play as well away from home right now, and playing in a tournament already has a weird quality to it. Playing as the second game of a session has another weird quality to it, because you don't get that hour ahead of tip-off to have access to the court and go through the usual routines. There are no usual routines for tournaments. So, and I know Vanderbilt's dealing with the same thing, but they don't travel. Like, their travel is going like 2 miles from the campus of Vanderbilt to downtown, right, to Bridgestone Arena. So it's not close to being the same thing. It's not. You could use the term trap game because Arkansas should be heavily favored, but there is no such thing as a trap game when you're playing in the first round of a 5-level tournament. When you finished in the bottom 4 of the league, it isn't a trap game. You're here for a reason, and that means you could lose this ball game, no doubt about it. Arkansas can most definitely lose this one. Bruce in Nashville thinks that Arkansas is going to lose, and I know, Bruce, you've had your ups and your downs of the roller coaster expectations for specifically Eric Musselman all year long. Bruce was saying for a good long while from the start of January that Arkansas would be a 4-win team in the SEC. And then once Isaiah Joe came back and looked so good his first game back, and they forget who they beat that game, but looked so good doing it, he said, well, I think they're going to win out because Joe's back and he looks perfect, he looks great, but now Bruce is back to they're going to lose. And Eric Musselman is one of the worst coaches in the SEC. So, Bruce, you go up and down with the fortunes of this team as it goes.
Daylight savings time is getting to him just a little bit.
It must be. I know Eric Musselman also has some sound on specifically the matchup with Vanderbilt. So let's get his thoughts on Arkansas v. Vandy, take 2.
We're playing basketball games, and the main thing is how do we win the games coming up. And, the focus, in my opinion, we got to focus on how do we beat Vanderbilt, and that's really all I'm concerned with right now.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, I mean, that's what tournaments are about. You know who you could play ahead of time, and you do have a scouting report from when Arkansas played against South Carolina, but that's what tournaments are all about. You play who's in front of you, you prepare for who's right in front of you, and then as soon as that game is done, and I feel like this coaching staff has been pretty good about it, you just start preparing for the next opponent as soon as the first game is over. So yeah, you can't prepare fully for South Carolina while you're getting ready to play Vanderbilt. You beat Vanderbilt, then you get ready for South Carolina. First things first, and I guess first thing would be practice, and I know Coach Musselman also addressed the practice schedule and the arena that Arkansas is playing in. Bridgestone Arena is fantastic for professional sports. I mean, that's where the Predators play. They'll host NCAA tournament games there quite a bit. It's now the official home of SEC basketball tournament for, I think, going on 20 years now. They're going to be keeping that tournament there for the foreseeable future until my kids have kids, I think. They'll be talking about Nashville as the home of the SEC tournament. So here's Eric Musselman on how Arkansas is scheduling their practice, or at least when the SEC is allowing them to practice, and what he thinks of Bridgestone Arena.
The way that we're going to practice tomorrow is, we're going to take an earlier flight than we normally do. We're going to practice at an off-site at 2 o'clock or whatever. Then we're going to go back to the main arena for our 40-minute segment to get shots. So it's, your whole, format's a little bit different. And when you've coached a team 2, 3, 4, like they know what's coming. This is new for this group with me. And I do think that's, it's going to be new for all of us. I do like that arena, though, I'll tell you that. We won some games there before. That was the year we went to the Sweet 16.
Okay, I didn't realize that. So does that get good Bridgestone vibes? Or?
I hope so.
Does that help? Did you at least have had success there?
It's my favorite building.
Well, if it's his favorite building when he was with Nevada, maybe you can get a reason for it to be his favorite building with Arkansas, outside of Bud Walton Arena, which I think Eric Musselman would have to admit is his favorite building aside from Bridgestone Arena.
There is some other good news coming to the SEC tournament for tomorrow, and we're going to get to have it on the air tomorrow. Our man Ty Richardson is heading
that's right.
Our man Ty Richardson is heading to Nashville right now, so he will he'll be there live for the morning rush, and then he'll jump in here for a segment or two tomorrow, and hopefully for the long haul.
Well, I don't know how Ty has any time to focus on sports with The Bachelor these days. I mean, did you follow him on Twitter last night while he was watching The Bachelor?
He was emotional this morning.
Break out the Kleenex, my man. Don't worry, Madison will still be around. She'll still be as popular as any time before. Yeah. Hey, I want Arkansas to win at least one game so that Ty can stick around in Nashville for the entire weekend.
Yes.
Maybe get himself a little St. Patty's Day celebration there, too. Not like Nashville's like, Irish Central, but I would imagine it'd be fun for St. Patrick's Day. All right, baseball conversation coming up with ESPN insider Kylie McDaniel, focusing on Major League Baseball after the break. Stick around.
Only the best vehicles make it to the inventory at Hertz Car Sales. When you buy from Hertz, you know you're getting a high-quality car, SUV, or truck. The sales staff takes the time to get to know you and what you're looking for and will work hard to match you up with the perfect vehicle. You'll find that your experience at Hertz is easy and affordable as you drive away in your late-model, low-mileage vehicle. So what are you waiting for? Come on over to Hertz Car Sales, 2810 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith. Give them a call today at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromhertz.com. Hertz Car Sales, when you're ready.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shop, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by 7320 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith or call 648-3342. You can also catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
Do you drive a diesel-powered truck? Then you'll want to check out this bargain of the month from Metters Lumber True Value. Right now, you can pick up a 2.5-gallon package of Blue Def diesel exhaust fluid with convenient nozzle for only $12.99 while supplies last. Blue Def is a high-purity synthetic mixture that improves emissions and fuel economy in diesel-powered vehicles. Pick up this bargain of the month and other automotive needs at Metters Lumber True Value.
Kevin Hickey Law has a great team of people who are dedicated to your legal cares. Kevin Hickey's law team is made up of experienced, caring individuals centered around divorce, child and custody, DHS matters, and more, serving the Fort Smith area and Northwest Arkansas. Make the right decision. Call Kevin Hickey Law at 479-434-2414 and for Northwest Arkansas, 479-802-6560 or the web at kevinhickeylaw.com, where our clients are our main priority from start to finish.
The former owners of the Well Liquor, Thomas, Nancy, and Cheeto, are reaching out to all their old customers, inviting them to stop by Ginny Lind One Stop, 3825 Ginny Lind Road. They want you to know that they are now serving food and have a large selection of tobacco products, with cigarettes priced at state minimum. Save now on 24-ounce sodas. Get 2 for only $3.33, and candy bars 2 for $2. They have a great selection of beer with wine coming soon. Located just down from Ramsey Junior High School at 3825 Ginny Lind Road. Ginny Lind One Stop. Come see them today.
Looking to upgrade your fleet or needing professional service to your existing fleet? Carco International of Fort Smith offers the latest trucks and equipment in the industry. With over 70 years in the trucking and equipment business, they have the experience to keep you on the road. Carco International offers professional service after the sale. Carco International Parts Department supplies all makes, parts, and gives expert service. Carco International is the answer. Leave it to the pros to keep you on the road. Carco International, located at 2721 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith.
This is ESPN 95.3. This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
6 seconds remain. Madden puts it up. Wow! What a finish! Bobby Portis, the magic man, arrives just in time. The tip-in and zeros on the clock.
I want to get into a baseball conversation here, talking major leagues and maybe a connection to Major League Baseball with the college game and how it's coached. Kylie McDaniel is an ESPN insider covering Major League Baseball. Might have read him at Fangraphs for the last couple of years. Also worked in some Major League front offices. Kylie, appreciate you giving us 10 minutes of your time today. How's it going?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So are you in Florida or are you in Arizona? Because this time of the year, people who are covering Major League Baseball are in either one of those two sunny states.
I am a secret option C. I'm at home, although I just came from Florida a couple days ago, and I'll be going to Arizona in a couple weeks.
You mean so you're actually allowed to go home? I thought media members were, like, stuck in spring training purgatory, this time of the year. You actually are allowed to go home?
Well, yeah, luckily I'm also tasked, I guess, sort of the leading person from ESPN to handle the baseball draft. And so being in Atlanta, covering college and high school stuff, and then having Delta here, everything's a direct flight. So I get to go home during the weeks, and then get my action in over the weekend.
Everything's a direct flight for now. Travel plans might have to change.
Well, direct flight and an empty flight.
Yeah, an empty flight too. That's right. And I guess I wanted to ask about Major League Baseball joined all the other professional sports by closing the clubhouses for interaction with media members, and I think no sport has more interaction with media members and the athletes than baseball does. Have you, this just happened yesterday. What do you get a sense of how this changes the way the game might be covered until the clubhouses are opened again?
Yeah, I'm not one of those people in sort of the beat writer area that's in there every day trying to get little nuggets, working on stories, sort of having to develop relationships in that sort of a direct way. So it doesn't affect me a lot directly, but I have a lot of friends and colleagues that obviously affects regularly. And I think it's, I don't want to say short-sighted, but if you try to think about, keeping the players safe in terms of, germs and things like that, obviously having a bunch of media members just sort of waltz into their workspace for a while, probably not great for that. But, there's the receiving line all during batting practice with a bunch of people, and there's, autograph people, which I guess they're cutting down on. And then there's just people when they walk down to the tunnel, there's people within, a foot of them. So, media members is probably the easiest one to restrict, and it'll make their jobs a little bit harder. But if you think of, the articles that are written, it's oftentimes, sit down interview where you don't have to be, you can be 5 feet away from them and talk to them, or you could be over the phone, or it could be, something on the broadcast. So I don't think it'll, fundamentally change everything. It'll just make everything a little bit harder. But I also think that there's a lot of other, person-to-person interactions that are not being thought about yet. The media is just the easiest thing to be like, oh, we don't have to do this thing in the locker room, so we'll stop doing it.
Okay. Well, so your specialty, and you came first from Major League front offices, correct? How many teams did you work for? Which teams did you work for?
I worked for 4. So I started with the Yankees, and then to the Orioles, then to the Pirates, and then most recently the Braves.
and then you went over to Fangraphs at ESPN now, and so your focus is on you, like you see, you're covering the draft for ESPN, player development, and I'm interested in the book that is coming out that you and Eric Longenhagen are publishing, Future Value, subtitled "The Battle for Baseball's Soul and How Teams Will Find the Next Superstar." So this isn't about necessarily like the idea of Moneyball, of how to construct a major league team. You're talking about how to find specifically the next superstar from amateur baseball. Would that be the right way of putting it?
It's sort of more wide-ranging. I guess the sort of concept that we worked out with the publisher was that after the book Moneyball came out, which was about 15 years ago, scouts were worried that they were going to get replaced with a bunch of analysts. And basically the opposite happened. Like, teams did all the research and found that scouting reports, especially on high school, college players, lower minors players, were more predictive than numbers were, because the numbers they were looking at back then, strikeout to walk ratio and on base percentage, like, there's so many other things going on at those low levels that you can't encapsulate. But now with TrackMan and StatCast and Hawkeye and all of these radar-based technologies, teams that are inclined to want to reduce their scouting staff and replace them with analysts, they now have the justification to do that if they want to. Obviously, a bunch of teams are not doing that, but teams like the Astros, the Brewers, and teams like that have started doing this. And so we talked about writing a book that would sort of cover this intersection, because Eric and I have both, worked on the team side, like talked to people with teams, understand and are fluent in the analytics of things, and also understand the scouting end of things. So, I guess you could split it into 3 sections. There's one section that runs for a couple chapters. It's basically, here's how to scout. If you have no idea how to scout a game, you got about 100 pages here that'll tell you how to do it. And we'll have a bunch of supplementary materials and videos and things you can look at online. Another section is about July 2, the international signing process and the draft. And it's just like dozens of stories from scouting directors about how they signed all-stars and top prospects and sort of the strategy and things that go into that. And then the last part of it would be covering analytics and sort of where we started, where we are now, where we're going, how teams are making these decisions, how they're cutting down on scouting staffs, sort of where we fall on that spectrum.
I'd read about how the Astros cut their scouting staff, and that I guess that surprised me, but it really shouldn't have. From my time covering minor league baseball, when Lunau took over, you knew that they were just going to go things in a different way. What are the teams that are more defending the old school way, that still have those quote-unquote old school scouts, the guys that are, I don't know if it's the same thing that it used to be, wearing the Hawaiian shirt and the Panama Jack hat and all that, but, the prototypical scout. What are the organizations that still rely on the backbone of developing by using old school scouts to bring players into their system?
So every team now, like when the Royals were in the World Series a couple years in a row, I think the defense from traditionalists, the sort of scouting type people in baseball, was, look, you can still win doing it that way. I mean, they had PhDs in their front office doing analytics and had a staff of 6 or 7 people. And I think the influence of that group was smaller than most teams, and the size of that group was probably smaller than most teams. So, that point wasn't lost. I think that's also true of the Nationals. They're one of the, we actually do this in the book, if you could sort of put teams somewhere on the spectrum of whether you lean more towards scouting to make decisions or more toward analytics, the Nationals, the Padres, the Royals, those would be the teams kind of leading the charge in that area, and obviously they've all had or are having some level of success. So it's not like you can't succeed doing that, and in a way there's more value in it now because there's fewer teams doing it. So if, a player is worth more to scouting-oriented teams, there's less teams sort of bidding for that player, whether it's in a draft or in a trade, free agency, things like that. And then obviously the Astros are kind of leading the charge in terms of being the most progressive, and the teams that are right behind them, honestly, are the teams that have hired executives away from the Astros, so that would be Baltimore and Milwaukee, are probably next in that regard.
I want to close out on the idea of the connection from college baseball to the majors, because I know as you're going around the country and watching amateur players, you're probably focusing some on college baseball too, and maybe in the SEC. And I've been covering Arkansas baseball games now for 6 years. This is a technologically savvy baseball program, as is just about every other program in the SEC. But when I started, it wasn't necessarily the case. This has all happened rapidly. And now you see college pitching coaches that are being interviewed by major league teams. Wes Johnson was our pitching coach at Arkansas. Now he's the Twins pitching coach. There's more of a connection between college baseball and major league baseball than I've ever seen before. And I think that the way that the game is analyzed and coached is probably closer to the way that the majors do it than it has ever been before. Are you seeing this, too, in what you're watching from college baseball players that you might not have seen 5 years ago?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see that, because I think the two key things that are happening, one, if you are a coach for any team, big league-wise, in like AA, there is a top-down of how to handle all of the analytics. So like the guy in the office, the guy that runs player development, the GM, they all have input. They know how they want to tweak guys' swings and tweak guys' mechanics. And so if you're like a 25-year-old coach and you're in AA, low A, wherever you are, you don't have very much agency in what's going on. You're kind of doing what you're told. Whereas if you were the pitching coach for Arkansas, you're recruiting 14, 15-year-olds in high school. You're developing 18 to 21-year-olds. You've probably got a couple 23, 24-year-olds, grad transfers, things like that. And then you also have like guys that graduated from the program that might be in the big leagues coming back to learn more. And you also are running an analytics department like North Carolina, while they had Robert Woodard there, created an app for all of the pitchers to walk around with on their phone to keep track of what they were eating and when they were working out. In a lot of ways, that's at least middle of the pack in terms of major league organizations. So when big league teams are looking for pitching coaches that are sort of the go-getter that can make that top-down system and maybe even have some influence over the minor leagues while they're the big league pitching coach, the breeding ground for that is college, where you're given sort of broad control over a lot of things, some resources where you get to do things. And, being a coach at a minor league affiliate, you don't get to do any of that stuff. And so we've seen, like, for instance, Georgia Tech just hired away Danny Burrell, who used to be the Yankees pitching coordinator. You could argue that he has more power and has a shorter path to being the Yankees big league pitching coach by being the pitching coach at Georgia Tech than he did being the number 2 pitching guy in the minor leagues for the Yankees.
Gosh, that's amazing to think about, really. That really is.
Well, and the reason this is happening is that we also cover this in the book, too, where there is a substitution that can be made between Major League Baseball and somewhere else, they are forced to be competitive. So where, minor league players aren't leaving minor league baseball to go to a competitive minor league somewhere else where they're getting paid the same, at the same chance of making the big leagues. So they're continuing to pay those players not very much. The same thing with interns in a front office. They're not walking out of the Braves front office to go get a bunch of money to go work at some, startup version of the XFL for baseball. But SEC pitching coach to big league pitching coach is a direct correlation between the two. And so major league teams were paying their pitching coaches below what they probably were worth. And the SEC is forcing them to drive it up in the same way that, the DMV doesn't have to go any faster because there's not like a shadow DMV keeping them competitive. And that's how major league organizations were. They didn't have to be efficient. And now the SEC is actually forcing them to be efficient.
So interesting. That's we could go forever with this, but we'll have to cut it there. Kylie, you killed it. I'm looking forward to reading the book. And I tell you what, you got to come to see a baseball game in Fayetteville, because it is, and I'll tell you this, I was not a college baseball convert until I started broadcasting these games. There really isn't anything like SEC baseball games in person. So if you get the chance, you got to be there.
I actually will be seeing the Razorbacks on Sunday at Mississippi State, and I may be at Baum at some point later in the spring.
Well, I'll be there on Sunday, too, in Starkville, so let's get a chance to maybe shake hands. I appreciate you coming on today.
Yep. Thanks for having me on. Have a good one.
You got it. That's Kylie McDaniel, ESPN Major League Baseball insider, and one of the co-authors of Future Value, subtitled The Battle for Baseball's Soul, and how teams will find the next superstar. It's coming out next month. All right, we'll come back after the break. We'll close up shop. Our cherry on the top today, Get Off My Lawn, halftime on a Tuesday. Stick around.
It's March Madness at Rath Auto Resources. Hi folks, Larry Rath here with Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we've gone mad. Think college basketball is crazy this time of year? You should see what's going on at Rath Auto Resources. We're going for the championship with discounts up to $3,100 below retail on our best selection ever of Rath Road Ready vehicles, plus up to $2,700 extra for your trade. That's a double-double. Plus my Fast Easy financing makes it easy to score a nicer, newer car and start driving better today. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in the Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes, buy 3, get 1 free on all tires, and a $24.95 basic oil change every day. Don't miss this chance to win it all with discounts up to $3,100 on the Rath Road Ready used car you've been dreaming of, and up to $2,700 extra for your trade during March Madness at Arkansas's #1 rated and reviewed independent dealer, Rath Auto Resources, and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, or online at rathauto.com.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price affects trade allowance.
March Madness is back, and at Breen RV, that means great basketball games and great camping weather. Make a slam dunk by getting a free satellite system with every new RV purchase. As always, we will have new travel trailers starting at just $99 a month, new fifth wheels starting under $300 a month, and the best selection of motorhomes in the area. We need your trade, so we'll give you top dollar for them, or we'll sell them on consignment for you. So make a fast break to Breeden RV on Alma Highway in Van Buren, or visit us on the web at BreedenRV.com. Breeden RV, where adventures begin.
Unbelievable! Tired of all the broken promises and broken equipment at your current gym? The Fort Smith Athletic Club is the nicest and most well-equipped fitness and tennis club in the area, with a state-of-the-art fitness center, Pilates, fitness classes, personal and group training, and the best tennis facilities in the region. 7 outdoor courts, 5 indoor courts, plus pickleball and racquetball courts, and free child care is included. The Fort Smith Athletic Club. Call 452-4031 for membership information.
When it comes to your gas bill, one size does not fit all. So AOG offers many payment options. Did you know you can arrange to pay online with the click of a mouse or pay by phone? You can even sign up for automatic bill payment from your checking or savings account. AOG also has a paperless billing option to reduce that clutter in your mailbox. Of course, you can bring your payment to our 24-hour drop box or to one of many convenient locations throughout our service area. To find a payment option that's a perfect fit, visit AOGC.com.
Have you been looking for your next place to call home and just haven't found the right one? Then it's time to check out the properties at Trinity Multifamily. With a variety of apartments, duplexes, townhomes, and houses, there is surely one to fit your needs. Whether it's in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas, or Central Arkansas that you are looking at, they have you covered. Give them a call today. Trinity Multifamily, 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hinton. At Champ Hinton Enterprises, we do things differently. Ask just one of our more than 35,000 customers who have bought their vehicle from us since 1984. Almost 80% of them have come back to buy another one. Why? Because Champ Hinton has one simple goal: putting people in a vehicle that meets their family needs without strapping them with an unrealistic monthly payment. See our inventory at champhinton.com. Experience the difference at Champ Hinton. Take the Arcoma exit, I-540.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
Shot clock's at 10. Jones forces a three, and it goes anyway. Wow, Mason Jones with a three. Arkansas's up 67-62. Archie Miller wants a timeout with 2:01 to go.
I enjoyed that conversation with Kylie McDaniel. Got to get him on again sometime. He was part of the ESPN crew that voted on the top 100 players currently in Major League Baseball. Mike Trout leads that list for the 7th consecutive year. Oh, man. To be quite honest, when you look back at this era of baseball in relation to history, you're going to see that nobody really has ever quite had a run like Mike Trout, and be a first ballot Hall of Famer and one of the absolute best players in the history of the game. And I definitely want to get Kylie back on as once baseball season starts, because hey, once the basketball tournament's done, once spring football's over and we're into baseball season, that's what you got. You got baseball, and we're going to talk a lot of baseball during the summertime. So, SmackDown, you better brush yourself up some.
I will.
A bit on the baseball talk. That's right.
I will. I'll get there. All I know is my Cardinals better win the World Series this year.
Oh, man, you and I are not going to get along as far as
you've told me your team. You're a Pittsburgh. You're a Pirate, aren't you?
Yeah, born and raised in Pittsburgh. I almost gave the Pirates up last offseason, but I was just – and I should have chastised Kylie. He said he worked for the Pirates, during the time, I think, when they stunk. I almost gave up on them because I couldn't believe that they weren't going to make any structural changes in the front office or in the dugout after last season and really 3 rough years in a row. But they made the changes, and so I'm willing to give them at least another couple of years. But I can't be a Cardinal fan. That can't happen. That was one of the teams I said I can't root for. Won't do it. Can't do it. Cubs are another one. Any of the teams in the NL Central, pretty much. So I'm just going to stick with the Angels. I'll stick with the Angels and the Pirates as my 2 teams. The Angels because I worked for their AA affiliate for 14 years. Trout, played for my Travelers in 2011 for 93 games. So I'll stick with the Angels and the Pirates. I'll take one AL team, one NL team. And call it a day.
So do I need to start cheering for one of your teams then?
No, I don't ever expect you to root
for
my –
not necessarily.
We'll just pull for the Razorbacks together on this show.
Deal.
Because, look, you're a Cowboys fan, right?
I am.
That's another of the teams that I can't ever root for under any circumstance.
But they're America's team.
No, they're not. They are not. I understand the ratings and the TV ratings and everything. You know the truth behind the whole America's team thing. Initially, the Steelers were supposed to be America's team, but the ownership said, no, we're not going to do that because we're really just Pittsburgh's team. So that's how the Cowboys became America's team. So you obviously see here, you and I can't root for the same football team. It is impossible.
But that's what's going to bring us together.
Yeah, hatred for your team and your hatred for my team.
That's fair. I'm getting blown up on my personal Facebook account right now by one of my good friends, and she's a Yankees fan.
About why? About the Yankees?
She's a diehard Yankees fan, and she's been begging me for years to just give up on the Cowboys. Or, give up on the Cardinals.
If you give up on the Cardinals, you can't start rooting for the other humongous bandwagons.
Oh, no, there'll be millions of other things I'd rather do than cheer for the Yankees.
Don't go in that direction. If I was going to give the Pirates up, I was going to give them up, and I wasn't going to the Yankees or the Red Sox or the Cardinals or the Cubs. The easy teams to root for. Those are easy teams to root for. They're also easy to hate out of jealousy more than anything else. But it's like I'll show you all sorts of Boston Red Sox fans that just started to percolate up through the ground during the 2004 World Series that wouldn't even know who Ted Williams was.
Right.
Yeah. And I'll give Bubba Carpenter, who grew up in West Fork, Arkansas, was a Yankees fan from birth. I'll give him that, okay? By the way, there's a former Yankee who's the head coach of Grand Canyon Baseball. Andy Stankiewicz is the head coach of Grand Canyon Baseball that plays Arkansas the next 2 days. Stanky. Has there ever been, I know you like your nickname, SmackDown, but come on now. Stanky is a great baseball nickname.
So, Stanky's great. So, just to kind of bring up another nickname, there's a nickname from way back when I was in high school and into college. They used to call me Stanky Jenkins.
Stanky Jenkins. See, put a little stank on it. That's that's music. That's what you put at the I think it's some in R&B songs or the blues. You put a little stank on it.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if you and I are necessarily qualified to define what stank really is, because I don't think I'm cool enough to be a blues musician. But Stanky is a great nickname. It goes along with, and this guy played big league baseball at the same time, Mike LaValliere. He was a catcher for the Cardinals and the Pirates. His nickname was Spanky because he looked like Spanky from, what was the name?
The Little Rascals.
Yes, Little Rascals.
From the Little Rascals. That's exactly who he looked like. So these are really good nicknames.
Matty T to the rescue.
Yeah, when it came to something involving the pop culture, well done, Matty T.
Hey, that's everybody has their knack.
Who's your favorite little rascal? Is it Alfalfa?
Alfalfa, because I used to have that hair.
Dear Darla,
used to have the one strand of hair that would stick up at the top of my head back in the days when I had hair. That was the thing. That was my look.
Oh, man.
I also had a tail. I had a little rat tail at the age of 13. So it was amazing the things you could do with hair when you actually did have hair. So I had to get off my lawn, and you don't have to play the intro for it. I just already was ready to tell the SEC coaches to get off my lawn with their choice of Emmanuel Quickley as the SEC Player of the Year. He's not even the best player on their team. He's not even the MVP of that team. I texted our friend Aaron Torres earlier to say, hey, Aaron, can you just explain? I think Aaron knows his college basketball. Aaron, can you explain to me why Emmanuel Quickley is SEC Coach's Player of the Year in one paragraph? He said, I'll do it in one sentence. Arkansas finished in 11th place in the SEC. He says, I don't agree, but that's the reason. And I think he's right. That has to be the reason. That has to be the reason. I mean, and it's ridiculous to go by the standings of the SEC for voting of an award that's supposed to encompass all of the regular season games. It's not just supposed to encompass the 18 SEC games. You know, if the NCAA selection committee isn't supposed to take conference standings and conference record into account when they're choosing their 68 teams, then the voters shouldn't be taking into account league standings either. You know, I mean, so Arkansas finished in 11th place in the SEC this year. That doesn't mean that they're the fourth worst team in the conference. It just doesn't. They're not. I would put them at least in the top 8 of the 14-team league. They just happen to finish with that record that put them in that place in the league this year. But that discounts every other game they played. It discounts what they did against TCU. It discounts what happened against Indiana. It discounts November. It discounts December. So you absolutely cannot base your votes upon the league standings and who you think is the best player on the league champion. It just, to me, I hate the thought of it. I would expect the coaches to vote better than that, but I don't think they did. I would expect the SIDs to vote better than they did, but I guess they didn't. Way to go, AP poll. I have now put all of my faith in the writers for the rest of my life. And the coaches poll, you can get off my freaking lawn.
Got smoke coming out of your ears, it looks like.
There you go. I got about 4 hours to chill out and calm down before the start of Arkansas baseball. But I'm sure Bubba Carpenter's going to say something to tick me off during the broadcast too.
Now, what makes you think he would do that to you?
Because he just does. We even argue in text messages. Like, if you think that Bubba and I are putting on an act when we argue on the baseball broadcast, that's who we are. We are good friends who agree about practically nothing. And that's what our baseball broadcasts are going to be about for the next 2 days. Hopefully it also means some Arkansas wins. So, Matty T, SmackDown, good stuff today. And I'll be with you tomorrow from Baum-Walker Stadium when we do the next edition of Halftime. For Matty T, for SmackDown, this is Phil. Get up, get out, and get off my lawn.
Madness all March long. Save up to $14,000 off at Harry Robinson Buick GMC.